Today we're doing something really fun on the channel. We are comparing three modernized versions of classic LEGO spaceships. Here we've got the 2022 version of the Galaxy Explorer, the 2023 version of the Blacktron Cruiser, and the 2025 version of the Blacktron Renegade. Now we are going to break these sets down based on their building experience, value, playability, and display value before deciding which one of these three is the best. Let's dive in. We'll start with the Cruiser, which was available at two different times during 2023 as a gift with purchase. It's a modular build starting with the cockpit, which contains a metal detector in the front and a nice snot technique for lights in the back. The trans red lights also set an angle for the wings. The real highlight of this set in terms of building experience is the middle section, which uses banner elements to make the angled walls of the segment, and a brick and tile build layer is added to the top, as all three can lift up to provide access to the interior and some storage, which includes some fun elements there. The back tail fin is well done, using clips as a way to achieve some snot techniques. Now the Galaxy Explorer from 2022, if I'm being honest, was one of the most delightful builds I've experienced over the last handful of years, and that's saying quite a lot. While I'm not a huge fan of the initial investment of pieces into a Technic skeleton, there are so many fun moments in this build. There's the achievement of angles, using bars and clips to attach things to different sections. There's the snot work around the entire edge that is so satisfying, especially when covering everything up with tiles. The vertical angle of the cockpit and cabin, which is so cool to build, and the technique that's unique to insert the windscreens in this section. The white down arrow is built so creatively, as are the nearby sirens. And the ramp mechanism in the back is a joy to watch come together throughout the build. So really, beyond bag 1 of 9, this was an absolute delight to build with very little repetition throughout. The Blacktron Renegade also had its share of solid moments. There are some interesting snot techniques with some lights on the back of the cockpit section, the support beams along each prong of the ship, and along the back side of wings, which does a nice job of using some techniques to get a cool look. The energy pods are a lot of fun to slide into the ship, and the Technic sections are reserved largely for just the landing gear and the vehicle release mechanism in the middle. In ranking these, there is a clear and pretty sizable gap in the order between the three of these. The third place, of course, is going to be the Blacktron Cruiser, which just lacks some of the details of the other two. Despite having some nice details and some cool building techniques, the Renegade is going to come in second place because it really lacks so many of the subtle details and the unique angles that we see here that are all over the place in the Galaxy Explorer. Again, the build is just that good. And if you noted in my review of the Blacktron Renegade, that was really the one knock I had of this, is that the build wasn't quite as elite as some of the other builds for 18 plus sets, including this one right here. While the Galaxy Explorer won the build experience category, the competition for playability is much, much stronger. The Cruiser comes with one minifig and a droid, some blasters, and a metal detector. A small ship, it swooshes easily in one hand and has some cool guns running along the sides of the cockpit. Being able to lift the cabin panels is a solid feature, and I can see kids, or kids at heart, enjoying flying this around in some sort of dogfight. The Renegade has a number of very cool playability features, starting with its modularity. Since it's bigger than the Cruiser, there are more possible combinations in putting this together, such as this one where you can take the engine and combine it with the cockpit, or even this one where you can combine the cockpit of the Cruiser with the Blacktron Renegade, which I think is pretty cool. You also have these fighters that can be removed from the wings, which are tiny yet make for a great play feature. With the set's three minifigs, you could stick one in each of those and deploy them as scouts. The vehicle itself is also fantastic. At 8 studs wide, it's hefty and befitting of a lunar rover. In a competition with the little buggy from the Galaxy Explorer, this one is going to win every time. Finally, the set is swooshable, although the asymmetry creates a little bit of a weight imbalance in your hand. Still, it's a lot of fun. The Galaxy Explorer gives the Blacktron Renegade a run for its money in this category though. It also comes with a droid, and its 4 minifigs fit so nicely in the cockpit as well as the cabin beds, even when wearing their air tanks. The buggy is stored in the back and is deployed by making use of my single favorite play feature of the lot, pulling out the ramp and letting it just slide on out. There are no deployable fighters or blasters in the Galaxy Explorer, but this ship may just be the most swooshable. It's sturdy, it is pretty lightweight, and it is so sleek. Which of these 3 wins in terms of playability? Well, in 3rd place, unsurprisingly, goes the Blacktron Cruiser, but for a small set, I think it's got some pretty cool details. Now, in 2nd place, I'm gonna go with the Galaxy Explorer. It does have a lot of cool components to it, but it lacks the overall playability of this set, which really looks fantastically evil and Blacktron-like. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for people to play with, especially my kids who didn't really like any of these until they were built, which leads me to Displayability. In terms of displayability, the Cruiser just isn't very imposing, though it fits nicely as a complementary display piece or even on its own at an end table. Personally, I do like the Blacktron Renegade and Galaxy Explorer as end table display units. However, that could be because I don't have any risers or stands on which to put them for a typical shelf display. In terms of overall looks, these 2 look really, really good. So that's gonna put the Blacktron Cruiser at 3rd place, which again is okay. It is smaller and just doesn't quite have the same look as the other 2 sets. Now, between the 2 of them, these are a little bit different. This one right here is a bit bigger, the Galaxy Explorer, than the Blacktron Renegade. But I think a lot of this comes down to your own preference. Do you like the black and yellow combination of the Blacktron theme? Do you like the classic space that's predominantly blue with a little bit of trans yellow and a bunch of light blay? Now, because of that, and I might favor this color scheme over this one, but this one does look so good, I'm having this one come down to a tie in terms of displayability. They both look fantastic, and I really enjoy how they all come together as one collection of sets. It is hard to beat the value of the Blacktron Cruiser because it was a gift with purchase in both January and July of 2023. But I'm guessing some fans may not have received that one yet. And so you might be looking to buy it on Bricklink or eBay or some other secondhand site. And furthermore, you still had to spend a bunch of money on other Lego sets in order to get this one to add to your collection. So I want to take a look at the value, yes, in terms of what you spent when it came out, but also what it would cost now in case you don't have one of them in your collection at the moment. Looking at the Cruiser, over the past 6 months, new copies of this set have sold for an average of just over $30 on Bricklink, which is a reasonable price. It has 356 pieces and the 1 minifig, so if you could find a store with decent shipping and handling fees, you could be looking at about $40 to $45 altogether, which isn't too bad for a retired set. There are also good deals to be had for the Galaxy Explorer, again, despite its retired status. New copies on Bricklink are averaging just over $90 US. Factoring in shipping and handling, you're looking at spending around $100 for a set that retired over a year ago. You can also find it on Amazon as recently as this past weekend before recording for about $110 US, and you might get free shipping from that. With 1,250 pieces and 4 minifigs, that's not a bad deal. One other note is that many people got this set at a discounted price while it was on sale in the stores because Walmart put it on sale for about 25% off pretty quickly, which made it an even better deal. In fact, that's actually the same price you'll find this set, the Blacktron Renegade, for sale in stores right now, although it's about 100 fewer pieces and 1 less minifig at 1,150 pieces and the 3 total minifigs. So in terms of cost, largely based on what it's going to cost to get the sets now, I'm gonna go with a slight nod to the Galaxy Explorer. And of course, we were able to buy this one for that 25% off at Walmart, which makes it a little bit of a sweeter deal, although I do think that the Blacktron Renegade is a pretty good value overall. So what is the verdict? Which of these three sets comes out on top? Well, it shouldn't be any surprise that the Blacktron Cruiser comes in third place. After all, it finished in third place in all of the categories that we looked at. It did come close in the value, but because I think the other two still have some very strong value out there and good deals to be had, that one's in third place overall. Now, the Blacktron Renegade finished in first place outright in one category, playability, which I think is actually saying something. On top of that, it was pretty close to the Galaxy Explorer in the value category, and I think this one held its own reasonably well. In fact, when I started preparing for this video and analyzing the sets and looking at the images and looking at them side by side, I actually thought this was going to be a bit of a blowout. But as I got into it, the Blacktron Renegade really did well. And if you look at my review of the set, the only really significant knock I had was with the building experience. And I think that is ultimately what seals the deal for the Galaxy Explorer being the best of these three sets. Like I said before, the building experience was absolutely incredible. One of my favorite experiences that I've had over the last 5 years. And again, I go back building Lego all the way to the mid-1980s, but just over the last 5 years, this one is in the same ballpark as the Lion Knight's Castle, the Tudor Corner, the Ninjago City Gardens, Medieval Blacksmith, and other just iconic, incredible sets that I've built over those years. So this is really the difference maker when it comes to the final verdict with this. So third place, Blacktron Cruiser. Second place, Blacktron Renegade. And in first place, the Galaxy Explorer. You think I got this right? Comment down below, especially if you think I got it wrong. I hope you learned something by watching this and had some fun looking at these three sets together. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.